If you just deliver in a lecture in a linguistic or mathematical way, only guys who are good in linguistic or mathematical intelligence, they will grasp more out of it, and the guys who are, for example, was good in kinesthetic or interpersonal skill, that guy won't get much out of the lecture, and he will basically get frustrated and a bit bored that I want to learn, and then the thing is not clicking to my mind, right? So the what should happen is that our intelligence should be student centric instead of teacher centric. And what our hypothesis is, this teaching model should be student centric instead of existing monolithic tutor centric. When an educational approach is well aligned with one's stronger intelligence or aptitude, understanding can come more easily with greater enthusiasm. Now, one more thing. I was just reading in a book about disrupting innovation, and he just gave some thoughts about our of U.S. Education system, and he said that basically the guys in third world country are performing or doing better as compared to the guys in America or in very developed countries. The reason is that whenever we start to learn something, there are basically two motivations involved in it. One is that you like that thing, and you just when you just study or when you just doing that thing, you just feel fun and you like doing it. For example, if some guy is has very strong mathematical intelligence, and if something is relevant to mathematics, he will really enjoy he will really enjoy that, because it is something which his mind understands, and in which his mind is basically getting the knowledge, and he is basically making a connection to it, and is able to grasp something out of it. It is basically saying his mind to get involved in thinking process. And the other this is basically the motivation which gets stimulated if you are teaching and the way in which the child wants to learn, right? And the other factor which plays a role in motivation is extrinsic motivation. An example of extrinsic motivation can be that I want to learn because I have to support my family, right? So there's that in extrinsic motivation, multiple intelligence doesn't play a very good role, because the guy himself is very much motivated, and he just want to learn, and he want to try everything, and he says that yes, I want to learn because I have to achieve something. In contrast to intrinsic motivation, in which the guy doesn't want to learn because he has some pressure or some mission to achieve, he just want to learn because he loves to learn. So if these type of people are not taught in the way in which they want to learn, you guys will lose them. And this is what is actually happening in America, that you are if the teaching is not inconsistent to someone's mental intelligence factor, then that guy won't show interest in this, and that's why the children will get bored and they will just leave the education. Now, why use multiple intelligence? Currently, basically using the IQ, the people who are divided into two subgroups. Either you were intelligence or you were not intelligence. Now, what these and the IQ tests or some even are more towards your language and mathematical skills. So Gardner suggested that these apparently not smart students are still smart, but they're in all different perspective. For example, if you are judging someone in the domain of mathematics or in the domain of mathematical intelligence, but that guy is a genius in kinesthetic intelligence, so you are basically asking a wrong question from the wrong guy, right? So the next thing is how to identify intelligence. According to Gardner, there's no, you can say, a formula that you apply some values and you get a multiple intelligence biography of some guy. So the best way, which Gardner even suggests, is that simple observation. Just observe the people, how do you, if someone, for example, I can give you an example, if someone is very good in dancing or very good in movement or very good in playing, then most probably he might be in the field of simple observation. And one thing which I just read in some book is that if you are good in, if you want to see this intelligence of your student, just see what mischiefs he is making in the class, right? So that might be his intelligence factor. So there are some couple of tests available to just estimate your multiple intelligence. One is the MEDAS test and one is the MEGA test, right? These are basically a complete questionnaire which you have to fill and you have to answer those. Then there's applying some formulas, you can get these values. These are available online, you can even Google those. Now we just conducted a survey on people who are masters of their field, and we just wanted to see that in what intelligence they lied. So our students are basically participants were, there were 16 male and the female was 11. Engineering students were 10, non-engineering was 17, and 16 were professionals were guys who basically are the master of their field, and students were 11. So this is basically the graph that the guys who were with engineering background, you can see that they have a very strong logical mathematical portion, that they excel in logical and mathematical portion as compared to non-engineering guys. They don't have a very good score in logical mathematical, but they are very good in interpersonal skills, right? And as compared to the engineering guys, they are very good in mathematical but not very good in interpersonal, right? And the next slide shows that the one thing which Gardner suggests and which basically should happen is that how these intelligence, how somebody get master in some, is good in some intelligence and is not good in some other intelligence. This is basically, you can say that due to some nature, or this is something which you can develop in course of time. For example, if your parents were mathematical genius and they just try to teach you everything in the term of mathematics, so you might get very good in mathematical intelligence. So to become good in one intelligence, there are two ways: either you are born with it or you just practice that field, in that field. So as you saw in this field, that engineering and this is basically the graph for the guys who are not in profession, who are just students. And you can see the engineering guys who are very good in engineering students, they are good in logical mathematical, and non-engineering are basically very good in kind of interpersonal music. So then this slide is about the guys who are doing jobs, and you can see that the mathematical in engineering part, mathematical portion remains there, right? And you can see the difference that their musical skills have increased just due to because their communication, etc., and their interpersonal skills have improved a bit, right? And similarly, their bodily kinesthetic people or professional people has improved a bit as compared to non-engineering student. And you can